and Liv Morgan and Drew McIntyre, a lot of which you're going to see.
Welcome to the main event. This is True Ring News Network, your ringside access to WWE news and drama. Subscribe and let's rumble. There are moments in wrestling that go beyond championships, rivalries, and headline matches. Moments when the story shifts from scripted chaos to something that feels painfully real. Long before the heartbreak that would change everything, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were one of the most influential power couples in wrestling history. Their partnership blended real love with on-screen dominance, creating a duo that felt untouchable. Triple H was riding a wave of success, world titles, main events, and a legacy that seemed unbreakable. Stephanie was more than just a manager. She was his partner in strategy, confidence, and ambition. Together, they looked unstoppable. But behind the polished smiles and shared victories, there were subtle signs that something in their world wasn't as perfect as it seemed, cracks beneath the surface. In the weeks leading up to the moment that would break the internet before social media even existed, there were hints, tiny gestures, changes in tone, moments where Stephanie seemed distant or conflicted. Triple H, being the cerebral assassin, usually saw through everyone's motives. But love creates blind spots, and even the sharpest mind can miss the quiet warnings when the heart chooses certainty over caution. Stephanie appeared frustrated at times, perhaps unsure about Triple H's increasingly aggressive tactics or the direction he was headed. Maybe she felt overshadowed, or maybe she questioned whether their alliance was still built on genuine trust. The audience didn't know it then, but every one of those small details was leading to a moment that no one could have predicted. The night everything fell apart. The arena was alive with energy as Triple H walked into one of the biggest matches of his career, a chance to elevate his legacy even further. The atmosphere pulsed with anticipation, and standing ringside was Stephanie, the woman who had been by his side through victories, defeats, and every chaotic twist in between. Triple H believed she would do what she always did, support him until the very end. But as the match reached its most crucial moment, something shifted. The referee was down, the stakes were sky high, and Triple H needed his partner more than ever. And then it happened. The moment that silenced the entire arena. Stephanie didn't help him. She didn't warn him. She didn't hesitate. She made a choice that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Whether she handed his opponent the advantage or created the distraction that sealed his fate, one thing was undeniable. The betrayal was deliberate. The look that told 1,000 stories. Triple H had taken countless hits throughout his career. Steel chairs, finishers, brutal matches. But nothing prepared him for the emotional devastation of seeing Stephanie standing against him. When he turned and saw what she had done, his expression wasn't anger. It was heartbreak. His face told the story of a man whose entire world had just collapsed. In that moment, under the bright arena lights, the game wasn't the unstoppable King of Kings. He was a man blindsided by the one person he trusted most. His eyes didn't reflect fury. They reflected disbelief, like he was asking silently, "Why?" The crowd felt the weight of it too. This was more than storyline drama. This was the kind of emotional moment that made wrestling feel painfully human. After the bell, the silence that hurt more than the betrayal. When the match ended and his championship hopes evaporated, Triple H didn't lash out or chase revenge. He simply sat in the center of the ring, trying to process what had just happened. The arena around him buzzed with confusion, but he didn't move. He looked up at Stephanie with a heartbreak that cut deeper than any physical injury. He wasn't thinking about losing a title. He was thinking about losing the partnership he believed would never crumble. Those few minutes, with the camera lingering on his expression, felt heavier than any scripted twist. It was the raw reaction of a man trying to understand how everything he built, personally and professionally, had fallen apart in one shattering moment. Stephanie's conflict, strength or sacrifice. While her betrayal was shocking, the look on Stephanie's face wasn't one of joy or triumph. It was conflicted, strained, almost regretful. It was clear that she didn't make the decision lightly. Whether she believed it was necessary for her own independence, whether she disagreed with Triple H's path, or whether she had been pushed to a breaking point, something about the moment hinted that she too was hurting. Stephanie had always been bold, driven, and strategic. But this moment showed another layer, a woman forced to carry the weight of a decision that would forever change both their lives. It wasn't coldness, it was complexity, the interviews that revealed the real pain. In the days that followed, Triple H's interviews were some of the most emotional moments fans had ever seen from him. The master of mind games, the king of ruthless promos, suddenly struggled to find words. His voice cracked as he talked about trust, how they had built something he believed would never break. He didn't accuse her. He didn't lash out. He simply tried to understand. He spoke about their bond, their shared dreams, and the moments they had built both inside and outside the ring. It wasn't the promo of a wrestler. It was the reflection of a man whose heart had been shattered in front of millions. That vulnerability made fans connect with him in a way they never had before. Why this storyline hit so hard? What made this moment unforgettable wasn't just the dramatic betrayal, it was the emotional realism behind it. Wrestling fans have seen countless shocking turns, but this one felt different. This felt human. The story tapped into universal fears. Losing trust, losing love, losing the person who knows you better than anyone. For many viewers, Triple H's heartbreak wasn't just WWE emotion. It was something they could relate to in their own lives. That's why it became one of the most powerful and memorable storylines in wrestling history, the transformation that followed. The aftermath changed both characters forever. Triple H evolved from the unstoppable powerhouse into a layered, vulnerable figure who understood that even the strongest warriors have emotional wounds. That depth added new dimensions to his persona and helped define some of his greatest future performances. Stephanie, meanwhile, stepped into a new era of independence and authority, proving she could make difficult decisions, even at the expense of her own feelings. Her character became more multifaceted, more compelling, and more unpredictable. Why? This moment will always matter. The moment. Triple H sat alone in the ring while Stephanie walked away remains etched in WWE history as one of the most emotionally charged scenes ever broadcast. It wasn't about titles, storylines, or power. It was about heartbreak. It reminded fans that wrestling, at its best, mirrors the human experience. Love, trust, disappointment, and difficult choices are universal themes. And when they blend with the drama of the ring, the result becomes unforgettable. This storyline proved that even the Game, a man known for unshakable strength, wasn't immune to the most devastating blow of all: betrayal from someone he loved unconditionally.